Imagine walking into school and feeling every eye on your face. That's the everyday reality for Auggie Pullman, the unforgettable hero of R.J. Palacio's best-selling novel Wonder. Today, we'll follow him from hiding behind his astronaut helmet to earning a medal for courage, and see how one simple choice can change everything.
Our story begins with 10-year-old Auggie Pullman, who everyone calls Auggie. He's just like any other kid who loves Star Wars and can name every SpongeBob episode. But here's the thing. Auggie was born with a rare genetic condition that makes his face look very different from other kids. He's had nearly 30 surgeries and has been homeschooled his whole life. Now his mom, Isabel, thinks it's time for him to start 5th grade at a real school called Beecher Prep. His dad, well, he secretly compares it to sending a lamb to the slaughter. Before school starts, Auggie meets 3 students chosen to be his welcome buddies. There's Charlotte, who's super polite, Jack Will, who's the class clown, and Julian, who seems nice on the outside but is actually pretty mean. During the school tour, Julian asks Auggie if he was in a fire or something. Ouch! That's when Auggie knows middle school is going to be tough. On the first day, Auggie's stomach feels like it's full of stampeding pigeons. Nobody wants to sit next to him until Jack Will plops down beside him. Their English teacher, Mr. Brown, writes something important on the board. When given the choice between being right or being kind, choose kind. Remember that quote, because it's going to be super important throughout the whole story. At lunch, things get better when a girl named Summer Dawson sits with Auggie. They create the summer-only table, where anyone with a beachy name can sit. It's silly, but it's the beginning of a real friendship. Everything changes on Halloween. See, when Auggie wears a costume, nobody knows who he is. He feels normal for once. But then, he overhears Jack Will, who doesn't recognize him, joking that he'd rather die than look like Auggie. Augie's heart breaks, and he decides he's never going back to school.
Now we switch to Via's point of view. She's Auggie's older sister, and she loves him like crazy. But she also tells us something important. Their family is like a galaxy, and Auggie is the sun that everyone orbits around. Via was hoping high school would be her fresh start, but her best friends Miranda and Ella came back from summer camp totally different. They have pink hair, new friends, and no time for Via. Plus, her beloved grandmother passed away last year. When Via finds out Auggie wants to quit school, she gets really upset, not just because of Auggie, but because she's been holding in all her own problems for years. She never complains because nothing she faces seems as bad as Auggie's surgeries. In a powerful brother-sister talk, Via convinces Auggie to go back to school. She tells him straight up, "None of us are normal, Auggie. Learn to own who you are." And it works. Auggie even cuts off his Padawan braid, which is like his security blanket, to show he's ready to grow up.
Summer admits something honest. She first sat with Auggie out of pity, but that feeling didn't last long, because she discovered Auggie is actually hilarious and fun to hang out with. At a Halloween party, the popular kids pressure her to ditch Zombie Kid and date Julian instead. But Summer chooses friendship over popularity and leaves the party. Summer also helps Jack Will figure out why Auggie is mad at him by whispering 2 words, bleeding scream. That was Augie's Halloween costume, and Jack realizes he was the one who hurt Augie's feelings. Jack's section takes us back in time. We learn he first saw Auggie years ago at an ice cream shop and gasped, just like everyone else. When the principal asked him to be a welcome buddy, Jack almost said no. But when his little brother called Auggie a monster, Jack decided he needed to be better than that. Now Jack has to fix his mistake. He apologizes to Auggie, switches lunch tables, and when Julian calls Auggie a freak, Jack punches him right in the mouth. This starts a war at school. Julian's family throws a party and tries to turn parents against Auggie. Jack becomes unpopular, but he doesn't care. He chooses loyalty over popularity. After detention and lots of apology notes, Jack and Auggie become friends again. They work together on a science project called a spud lamp and joke about Jack's cleaning accident on Julian's face.
Next, we meet Justin, Via's boyfriend who plays the fiddle. He comes from a cold, distant family, so he's amazed by how warm and loving the Pullmans are. When he sees some 7th graders planning to bully Jack, Justin pretends to be tough and threatens them with his fiddle case. Justin also meets Miranda at play rehearsals and realizes there's more to her story than Via knows. He sees how Via struggles with loving her brother, but also wanting her own identity. Back to Augie's perspective. In February, he gets new hearing aids that look like something from Star Wars. They make him look different, but they also give him super clear hearing and boost his confidence. Just when things are getting better, tragedy strikes. Daisy, their beloved dog who loved Auggie unconditionally, gets very sick and has to be put to sleep. The family grieves together, but they find some healing at Justin's school play. Here's where it gets interesting. Miranda, Via's former best friend, is supposed to be the lead in the play, but she fakes being sick so Via can have the starring role instead. The whole Pullman family, including Auggie, watches Via shine on stage. After the play, Miranda confesses something huge. At summer camp, she was lonely and started lying about having Via's perfect family, complete with a unique brother and a sweet dog. The lies made her popular, but also made her feel terrible. Giving up her role in the play was her way of saying sorry. The Pullmans forgive her, and she finally feels at home again.
The big finale happens during the 5th grade overnight trip to Broarwood Nature Reserve. Auggie is scared but determined to go. Everything seems almost normal, with campfires, horseback riding, and watching the sound of music outdoors. But then Auggie and Jack go into the woods to avoid long bathroom lines. There, they run into 4 older bullies, led by a kid named Eddie. They call Auggie horrible names like Gollum and Freddy Krueger. Jack gets pushed to the ground, but suddenly, 3 kids from their class, Amos, Henry, and Miles, show up like superheroes. Everyone runs through the forest to escape, but in the chaos, Auggie loses his expensive hearing aids. That night, word spreads about what happened. Kids who used to avoid Auggie like he had the plague now give him fist bumps. Even the teachers are wiping away tears. Julian, who skipped the trip, comes back to find he's not the popular kid anymore. The principal finds Auggie's smashed hearing aids in Eddie's locker and offers to take legal action, but Auggie just wants to move on. On graduation day, Auggie's dad confesses he threw away Auggie's astronaut helmet so he could finally see his son's face. Auggie forgives him. Then comes the big moment. Mr. Tushman gives a speech reminding everyone that it's not enough to be kind. One should be kinder than needed. The final award of the day is the Henry Ward Beecher Medal for courage, kindness, and friendship. And guess who wins it? Auggie. Every single student jumps up in a standing ovation. Auggie isn't the kid people avoid or pity or fear anymore. He's celebrated. When they get home, there's one more surprise, a new puppy named Bear. Auggie hugs his mom and thanks her for making him go to school. She tells him, "You really are a wonder, Auggie."
August Pullman, or Auggie, is the brave kid at the center of our story. He faces stares and whispers every day, but never stops laughing, trusting other people, or showing up at school. His sister Via loves him fiercely, but also struggles when she feels overlooked, reminding us that even heroes have hard days. Friends like Jack and Summer teach us that saying sorry and choosing kindness can change someone's whole world. Even something as simple as sitting together at lunch makes a difference. Meanwhile, Julian's loud teasing shows how easy it is for one person's fear to turn into a crowd's meanness, until someone like Amos, Summer, or Jack dares to speak up. Characters like Miranda and Justin orbit Auggie's life, proving that pretending to be someone else can push friends away, while genuine kindness pulls them back in. At its heart, this story is all about how brave it is to be kind. Mr. Brown's monthly precepts, or guiding words, encourage students to think about their choices and remind us that courage isn't about fighting bullies with fists, but standing up for others with gentle actions. By hearing the story through different voices, we learn that every person sees the same day in a different light. We discover that switching seats or walking in someone else's shoes is the first step toward real understanding. Along the way, each character discovers more about who they want to become instead of simply fitting someone else's idea. Whether that means Auggie losing his astronaut braid, Via choosing her own name, or Jack stepping away from the popular crowd. Symbols weave quietly through the adventure, giving us secret clues about hidden strength. Auggie's astronaut helmet becomes his badge of courage, a reminder that hiding under a mask robs the world of his true face. The classroom precepts guide every choice like a moral GPS. Daisy the dog and her replacement, Bear, mark endings and new beginnings filled with unconditional love. Halloween costumes offer the rare chance to feel invisible, then teach us how risky it is when masks come off. Even Augie's hearing aids, once something he hid, turn into a superpower that lets him hear compassion and kindness before anyone else notices.
Wonder doesn't promise a world without bullies. Instead, it shows us something even better. It shows us that ordinary kids can tip the balance toward good, one kind act at a time, one brave apology, one seat at the lunch table. Whether you felt like Auggie walking into a new school, or like Via wanting your own spotlight, or even like Julian making a mean joke you later regretted, you have the power to choose kindness. And that choice might just turn an ordinary day into a small, everyday wonder.